But first, let's talk about what's hot now. All right, a big weekend for trick-or-treaters. How many of you dressed in costumes and went out? Yes. I actually handed out candy this year. I was not, well, we did dress up for the show, and I did something for the Today Show as well. I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. But first of all, the celebrity costume. Everyone is talking about Heidi Klum as Jessica Rabbit. Did you see this? That is amazing.
Is that all, like, just plastic?
Yeah, it took her hours and hours to get made up into this, but I think she did a great... It's a little scary, right, when you see it?
It is scary. I thought, I heard she was going to be this, a couple of days beforehand. I was so excited because I knew she was going to look gorgeous and beautiful. But I think it missed a little bit for me. It's a little scarier than more beautiful.
Well, maybe because it was Halloween, she wanted to do like a more dramatic, kind of scarier version of Jessica Rabbit.
I don't know. I just thought it would just be spot on like the cartoon. I was expecting that.
She is the queen of Halloween. She always throws a big party. You two were invited.
Yes.
We'll talk about you in a second, but you made it. All right.
Yes, he stood me up.
I know.
He stood me up at the party. No, it was such a fun event. I had never been before. I've covered the event as a journalist, but I've never been inside. And it was so cool because they set up a haunted house as you went into the party.
Look at you guys.
Yeah, we met up later at another event.
So you're
Michael,
Cleopatra.
I'm Cleopatra, and then Michael and Lance were these gorgeous, gory vampires.
This was late night because the makeup has definitely been...
You look like a sad
That's how it started.
That was more fresh vampire makeup right there.
So you had a good time. Where were you?
All right, so, every year I've been wanting to go to Heidi Klum's party.
Yes.
Is one of my favorite things I've always wanted to go to. Well, we had a little pre-party at my place, and Liliana was there. My 15-person pre-party turned into about 50 to 60 people, and I could not leave. I couldn't tell people, okay, get out of my house. I got to go to Heidi Klum's party. So unfortunately,
but they crashed your party.
They did, but I love when people crash. I have an open door policy at my house at all times.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I have to say, I did see J-Lo, and I just wanted to be in the same room with her and like breathe her air. And she was spooky, but she was the most beautiful skeleton I've ever seen in my life. Yes.
I love it.
And what do you guys do?
You sound so boring right now.
No, I wasn't around celebrities, but I was beating men off of stages for my Halloween. I went to a grits and biscuit Halloween party, and I was in VIP. I was so happy to be up there, but there were crashers who didn't have the wristband up there, bumping me. Me and my friend got into a fight, some guy. It was all weird. I'm just a little hot. All I know is I'm too old to be doing this, okay? Too old.
I'm the one who kept her. I went trick-or-treating with my kids.
Aww,
my life has sort of changed a little bit. There they are. Ladybug. I mean, I listened to all these parties, and I was like, God, I miss out. But I'm like, there's nothing better than a kid running up and going, trick-or-treat. Trick-or-treat.
Now, do y'all go to apartments or do y'all go to businesses?
Oh, my God, we go to in New York City, it's a little different. I grew up in the suburbs where you go house to house like in Meredith, but we went to business, then we went to the Natural History Museum, which was like your party you went to with thousands of kids. I think it's your worst nightmare. And then we went to some brownstones, and then we're home by 7.
That's fun.
Because it was daylight savings, so we had to shut it down early. So
Are they still eating candy?
Oh, my gosh, my kids. Okay, here's the thing. Daylight savings, Halloween, kids, candy equals no sleep. Are you kidding me? That was the worst trifecta ever for parents at home. My kids woke up at 5 a.m. and said, candy, we want candy. I was like,
well, you say no sleep. I was a living nightmare on the Today Show. I made a surprise appearance. They did the characters of Peanuts. They gave me Pigpen. I mean,
that's awesome.
My agent, Michael Glantz, said, had I known what you were going to look like, I would have said you may not do this. They referred to me in one article as Freddy Krueger. So I'm done with Halloween.
That was a lot of prosthetics. So you did 2 days of prosthetics
stuff on my face. Yeah.
I think you look cute there, and I love you. You were giving it. You were doing your little character. You were
was giving it, yeah.
Face, too, because you brought it. How cute she looks.
That's cool.
All right, the one costume you did not see this Halloween was actress Leah Remini as a Scientologist. You know that she was a member of the Church of Scientology for years. She joined as a child. Her mother brought her into the church. After 30 years, she is speaking out against the church. She's written a book, Troublemaker: Surviving Hollywood and Scientology, and she was on 2020 talking about the church and criticizing it and saying that for her, in particular, her relationship with Tom Cruise when she was in the church, she criticized him at one point and she got written up for it. So that for her, I think it was a place that was quite smothering in many ways.
Yeah.
You were a member of the church, or you were?
No, I wasn't a member of the church, but
She brought you in, though.
She was my sponsor, as they say.
Leah Remini, right?
Yes.
Leah was. I was having relationship troubles with an ex, and she suggested that we go for this couples counseling, and we went to the Church of Scientology for this couple counseling, which actually was a great therapy session. I'd never done therapy at that point, and it was really nice.
So you actually benefited from it.
I did from that, yeah. And as the curious person I am, I love studying other religions, that type of stuff. So I wanted to kind of go undercover and see what this was all about. And so I went in, and they were very lovely people. They were very sweet. I understand the appeal for sure, because you felt so wanted and a part of a family. But then when I started taking the different classes, like, oh, you need this class and you need to go clear here. And then I started, seeing it for what it was. I'm like, this just is not me. And then you start hearing about the abuse, within the church, and it's just not. It just
I watched that movie,
right.
Going Clear, and
Yes.
I mean, I think everybody is entitled to believe what they want to believe. I believe in Jesus, and you don't. But I watched Going Clear, and I saw some of the treatment of just the children, and it just seemed kind of weird to me how they kind of like placed those children in another little area. It looked like the Hunger Games to me. I'm sorry, I didn't.
But
know
I
what
think
was
that's what Leah Remini's biggest complaint in the book was she was a member of Sea Org, which she's basically akin to child labor, is what it was. And I think that's what they took real issue with, because they have been accused of
I
being
find
very.
this so fascinating, because now, it's such a secretive organization. They've made it so taboo to talk about. And for you to go in this morning when we heard about this, we were so fascinated. We're like, did they make you pay? There's so many questions, because they keep everyone so guarded. That's what you were saying about celebrities. They keep you safe.
And they also promise you things. It's a big PR machine is what it is. And they promise to help you out with your career and make sure that you get that next
maybe
TV
I
show.
bet you become a Scientologist.
There are lots
I need
of
to
people who
join.
believe in it, including Tom Cruise. Obviously.
Yeah.
They did issue a statement on Remini of the church, and I want to read this. She needs to move on with her life instead of pathetically exploiting her former religion, her former friends, and other celebrities for money and attention to appear relevant again. So that is the position of the church. All right, let's move on. Justin Bieber, there's a switch. He has a lot of believers, but, for his fans in Oslo, Norway last week, the pop star disappointed the audience. He walked off the stage after performing just one song. He abruptly canceled the concert after complaining that the kids in the audience, who love him,
They look little.
did not listen to him while he was trying to wipe up some spilled water, and he left. He later posted an apology. He said, sadly, it's been a rough week for me, long days, no sleep, while having to be on, as they would say, for the cameras. Oh, no sympathy for the Biebs? No sympathy for the Biebs? He's a human being. He's having a day.
That's the thing I want to say, and because I understand the groans. I'm not a huge Justin Bieber fan, but I am a performer. I know sometimes you're human. You get on that stage, stuff's not going right. You just got to get out of the situation. Whether he should have done it or not is a different story. I hope he does make it up to them. But I have sympathy for him in this matter.
Have
Because
sympathy, but you have to be professional.
First of all, it's a job. And I was saying, my job as a mom, do you think how many times I want to walk out on my kids because I'm having a rough day? I can't walk out on my kids. It's a job.
But you also don't have 1,000 kids. You have like your 2 kids.
I can't walk out today. I'm like, this is my job. If I'm having a bad day or something like that, this is what I'm paid to do.
Everybody's entitled.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We all do.
And so I understand
regrets
that.
it, but maybe in that moment he had to leave.
Have you ever walked
And
out
by
on
the way,
something?
this is also the second time in 24 hours that he did that. He was very rude on a radio interview in Spain and just got up. They had people waiting for him, and he walked out of the studio because he was over it.
And you have to suck it up. Look, I've had food poisoning, stomach viruses. Justin's broken his arm twice on stage. We always finish the show. You always have to be professional.
Wow, you guys are tough.
That's great to say, but I know that I've been on stage, especially as a comic, and I know that I have to deal with the audience. Sometimes you're sick, sometimes things aren't going well. I know people would appreciate if I didn't take out whatever I'm going through on them and get off that stage, because when you're performing and you're not at your height, then people are going to complain about the flip side. Oh, look, he went up there, he wasn't doing his best because he has a problem going on.
But what about getting your money back? I'd say everyone should get their money back.
It wasn't a paid.
TV
But get your
show.
money back then. If you're not going to perform, then there's a
back
refund.
there and do a redo, but for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. All eyes are on Ben, Brad, and Angelina whenever they walk down the red carpet. But what is it like to work together? This morning they sat down with Tom Brokaw on the Today Show to discuss their new film, By the Sea. She directs it. They star in it together as a couple going through a very tough time in their marriage. She says the relationship is exactly the opposite. Things are great. Don't read anything into the movie. And then Brad Pitt gave an interview to V Magazine, and he talked about working with his wife, saying, "It's surprising how much I enjoy the direction of my wife. She's decisive, incredibly intuitive, knife sharp, and might I say, sexy at her post."
Yeah.
Can you work with your significant other? Could you do that?
Well, I'll say this because I'm gonna be short. I don't have a significant other, and I'm always looking at. But first of all, if I was them, I would constantly work with each other because that's how they found each other from being on a break from husband and wife. Okay, so they need to constantly work together so that their relationship stays intact. Because he might find a sexier woman, and then next thing you know, he married to that girl.
Yeah, I would imagine majority.
I'm keeping it real, okay? We know how that started. Okay?
I would imagine that the majority of people should not work together with their significant other. I mean, that's just a lot of stress on your relationship. But some people, like myself, my husband and I, who happens to be in the audience tonight, hi, babe. Him and I.
You would definitely work with him.
But we've worked together several times. You know, we work on the radio show together a lot, and we did our wedding special last year on E, and it brought us closer together. We loved doing that together. Now, I don't know if every single day doing that would work, but we loved it.
Have you did it once, Richard and I, before we were married. Oh, was it that? Yeah, it was before we were married. And he's a producer. I was a reporter at CBS at the time. And they would send us to Puerto Rico on a story, and it was awful. It was awful. We said at the end, or even before then, we said we will never do this again because we butted heads.
What were you butting heads about? Just different styles?
Yeah, his style is terrible and mine is really good. So, no. But, and we never worked together again, and we both critique each other. Can I just give my husband, I'm going to give my husband a little shout out because on Friday, he signed a book deal. So he's writing a book. He's writing another book. It's called, working title is called Chasing Hope, because as somebody living with MS, he has been looking for hope his whole adult life, and it's his chronicle of his search for hope and that of others as well. So yay to you, Richard!